I am not great at this stuff, so I am new to this, and I hope you will bear with me. But since I don't think I've ever actually read through, like, the Bible all the way through, I've actually, like, read it in church and, at home with my family and stuff, but I tried to do it one time. We did it in, like, our young adult group, but we only got to, like, Leviticus or something, and then we all got bored, so we ended up stopping. So, so yeah, I figured this is a great way for me to read it, and I can have people in the chat telling me how ridiculous it all sounds. And, yeah, then you can read along with me too if you guys want. I have the, like, Jews for Jesus Bible, so it talks a lot about, like, how the Jewish, like, prophecies and stuff line up with what Jesus supposedly did. So I might throw some of that stuff in there too after reading, but we'll see. Thanks everyone who's watching, and let's get started reading. Giant Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was unformed and void. Darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God hovered over the surface of the water. Then God said, "Let there be light." God saw that the light was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So there was evening, and there was morning, one day. God said, "Let there be a dome in the middle of the water. Let it divide the water from the water." God made the dome and divided the water under the dome from the water above the dome. This is how it was. And God called the dome sky. So there was evening and there was morning, a second day. God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let dry land appear." And this is how it was. God called the dry land earth. The gathering together of the water he called seas, and God saw that it was good. God said, "Let the earth put forth grass, seed-producing plants and fruit trees, each yielding its own kind of seed-bearing fruit, on the earth." And that is how it was. The earth brought forth grass, plants yielding its own kind of seed, and trees each producing its own kind of seed-bearing fruit. And God saw that it was good. So there was evening, and there was morning, a third day. God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky, to divide the day from the night. Let them be for signs, seasons, days, and years, and let them be for light in the dome of the sky to give to the light of the earth." And that was how it was. God made the two great lights, the larger light to rule the day, and the smaller light to rule the darkness, and the stars. Then he put in the dome of the sky to give. Then he put them in the dome of the sky to give light to the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. So there was evening, and there was morning, a fourth day. God said, "Let the water swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth, into the open dome of the sky." God created the great sea creatures, and every living thing that creeps, so that the water swarmed with all kinds of them. And there was every kind of winged bird. And God saw it was good. Then God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the water of the seas. Let the birds multiply on the earth." So there was evening, and there was morning, a fifth day. God said, "Let the earth bring forth each kind of living creature, each kind of livestock, crawling animal, and wild beast." And this is how it was. God made each kind of wild beast, each kind of livestock, and every kind of animal that crawls along the ground. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, in the likeness of ourselves, and let them rule over the fish in the sea, the birds of the air, the animals, over all the earth, and over every crawly creature that crawls on the earth. So God created humankind in his own image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. God blessed them. God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds of the air, and every living creature that crawls on earth." Then God said, "Here, throughout the whole earth, I am giving you food from every seed-bearing plant and every tree with a seed-bearing fruit. And to every wild animal, bird in the air, and creature crawling on the earth, in which there is a living soul, I am giving as food every kind of green plant." And so, this is how it was. God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So there was evening, and there was morning, a sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, along with everything in them. On the seventh day, God was finished with his work, which he had made. So he rested on the seventh day from all his work. God blessed the seventh day and separated it as holy, because on that day God had rested from all his work, which he had created, so that itself could produce. Here's the history of the heavens and the earth when they were created. On the day when Adonai, God, made earth and heaven, there was yet no wild bush on the earth, and no wild plant that had sprung up. Rather, a mist went up from the earth, which watered the entire surface of the ground. Then Adonai, God, formed a person from the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils for the breath of life, so that he became a living being. Adonai, God, planted a garden towards the east in Eden, and there he put the person which he had formed. Out of the ground, Adonai, God, caused to grow every tree pleasing in appearance and good for food, including the tree of life in the middle of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. As the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it divided into 4 streams. The name of the first is Pishon. It winds through the land of Havilah, where there is gold. The gold of the land is good. Aromatic resin and oxen stone are also found there. The name of the second river is Gishon. It winds through the land of Cush. Hello, Jade. The name of the third river is Tigris. It's one that flows towards the east of Asher. The fourth river is the Euphrates. Adonai, God, took the person and put him in the garden. In the Garden of Eden to cultivate and care for it. Adonai, God, gave the person this order: "You may freely eat from every tree in the garden, except the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You are not to eat from it, because the day that you eat from it, you will certainly die." Adonai, God, said, "It isn't good that a person should be alone. I will make for him a companion, suitable for helping him." So from the ground Adonai, God, formed every wild animal and every bird that flies in the air, and he brought them to the person to see what he would call them. Whatever the person would call each living creature, that would be its name. So the person gave names to all the livestock, to the birds of the air, and to every wild animal. But for Adam, there was not found a companion suitable for helping him. Then God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the person. While he was sleeping, he took one of his ribs and closed up the place from which he took it with flesh. The rib which Adonai God had taken from the person, he made a woman person, and he brought her to the man person. The man person said, "At last, this is bone from my bones and flesh from my flesh. She is to be called woman, because she was taken out of man. This is why a man is to leave his father and mother and stick with his wife, and they shall be one flesh." They were both naked, the man and his wife, and they were not ashamed. Now the serpent was more crafty than any other wild animal which Adonai, God, had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say, 'You are not to eat from any tree in the garden'?" The woman answered the serpent, "We may eat from the fruit of the trees of the garden. But about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God said, 'You are neither to eat from it nor touch it, or you will die.'" The serpent said to the woman, "Is it not true that you will surely die? Because God knows that on the day that you eat, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it had a pleasing appearance, and the tree was desirable for making one wise, she took some of its fruit and ate. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together to make themselves loincloths. They heard the voice of Adonai, God, walking in the garden at the time of the evening breeze. So the man and his wife hid themselves in the presence of Adonai, God, among the trees in the garden. Adonai, God, called to the man, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, so I hid myself." He said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree which I ordered you not to eat?" The man replied, "The woman you gave to be with me. She gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate." Adonai God said to the woman, What is this that you have done?" The woman answered, "The serpent tricked me, so I ate." Adonai God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all the livestock and the wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and eat dust as long as you live. I will put animosity between you and the woman, and between your descendants and her descendants. He will bruise your heel, and you will bruise it. He will bruise your head, and you will bruise his heel." To the woman he said, "I will greatly increase your pain in childbirth. You will bring forth children in pain. Your desire will be toward your husband, and he will rule over you." To Adam he said, "Because you listened to what your wife said and ate from the tree, in which I gave you an order not to, the ground is cursed on your account. You will work hard to eat from it as long as you live. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat field plants. You will eat bread by the sweat of your forehead until you return to the ground. For you were taken out of it. You are dust, and you will return to dust." The man called his wife Eve, because she was the mother of all living things. Adonai God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife, and clothed them. Adonai God said, "See, the man has become like us, knowing good and evil. Now to prevent his putting out of his hand, and taking also from the tree of life, eating and living forever. Therefore Adonai Adonai, God, sent him out of the Garden of Eden to cultivate the ground from which he was taken. He drove the man out, and he placed him east of the Garden of Eden. And a flaming sword, which was turned in every direction to guard the way of the tree of life. The man had sexual relations with Eve, his wife. She conceived, gave birth to Cain, and said, I have acquired a man from Adonai. In addition, she gave birth to his brother, Abel. Abel kept sheep, while Cain worked the soil. In the course of time, Cain brought an offering to Adonai from the produce of the soil. And Abel too brought from the firstborn of his sheep. I have lost my spot. Just a minute. Including their fat. Adonai accepted Abel and his offering, but he did not accept Cain and his offering. Cain was very angry and fell on his face. Adonai said to Cain, Why are you angry? Why so downcast? If you are doing what is good, shouldn't you hold your head high? And if you don't do what is good, sin is crouching in your door. It wants you, but you can rule over it. Cain had words with Abel his brother. Then one time, when they were in the field, Cain turned on his brother Abel and killed him. Adonai said to Cain, Where is Abel, your brother? He replied, I don't know. Am I my brother's guardian? He said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. Now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood at your hands. When you farm the ground, it will no longer yield its strength to you. You will be a fugitive wandering the earth. And whoever finds me will kill me. Sorry. Cain said to Adonai, My punishment is greater than I can bear. You are banning me today from the land and your presence. I will be a fugitive wandering the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. Adonai answered, Therefore, whoever kills Cain will receive vengeance sevenfold. And Adonai put a sign on Cain, so that no one who found him would kill him. So Cain left the presence of Adonai and lived in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain had sexual relations with his wife. She conceived and gave birth to Enoch. Cain built a city and named the city after his son, Enoch. To Enoch was born Irid. Irid fathered Maculia. I don't know these names. I'm very sorry. I will try my best. Yeah, I don't know where the other people came from, because if they were the only people around, but then Cain apparently wandered off and found a wife in another town. So, I always found that interesting too. Because the Bible, if that's true, then the Bible shows that they weren't the only people that were around during this time. Micaiah fathered Methuselah, and Methuselah fathered Lamech. Lamech took himself 2 wives. The name of one was Adai, while the name of the other was Tazillah. Adai gave birth to Yaval. He was the ancestor of those who live in tents and have cattle. His brother name was Yuval, and he was the ancestor of all who played lyre and flute. Tizlah gave birth to Tuvlah Cain, who forged all kinds of tools from brass and iron. The sister of Tuvlah Cain was Nama. I'm very sorry if I'm saying these all wrong. I do not know how to say Bible names. Lamech said to his wife, Adel and Tizlil, listen to me, wives of Lamech. Hear what I say. I killed a man for wounding me, a young man who injured me. If Cain will be avenged sevenfold, then Lamech 77-fold. Adam again had sexual relations with his wife, and she gave birth to a son, whom she named Seth. For God has granted me another seed in the place of my son, since Cain had killed him. To Seth too was born a son, whom he called Enosh. This is when people began to call upon the name of Adonai. Alright, so those are the first 4 chapters of Genesis that we read, and I have like an actual like reading list that I want to go through. So, yeah, I will, maybe I can find a way to get that out to everyone, so if they will know, like, follow along and read, because I do want to try to read the whole Bible in a year, and I think doing it this way gives me motivation to do it instead of just like not doing it or just trying to do it on my own and then getting busy with other stuff. So thank you everyone who came to listen, and I hope you guys really enjoy just listening to the Bible with me, and just yeah, I think it's really important, Jade, that especially as an atheist, to know what the Bible actually said. I thought it was. Yeah, I think it's really important to know what the Bible actually says, because I think a lot of times atheists like myself can get it twisted or out of context, and actually looking at it in context and seeing what it actually says can make a lot more sense. And yeah, so that's one reason I want to do this. And I also just got Dr. Josh's book about the Old Testament, and I want to read that too, because I think reading that with the Bible will really help me understand it better. And so if you guys want to get that book, it's really good. It's the Atheist's Handbook to the Old Testament. I have not read it yet because my husband grabbed it when it came yesterday, and he started reading it. So, but he said it's really good, and he's already read like the intro and the first chapter, and he said he already wants the second book. So whenever Josh gets around to reading the second one, my husband is super excited about that. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming and reading along with me. I am reading out of, I have a Jews for Jesus Bible, so that's what I was reading out of. So some of the words are a little bit different than like the KJV or the NIV or any of the other texts that people have. But yeah, I really like the Jewish Bible because, like, excuse me, obviously it's not like from real Jews. It's Jews for Jesus, which are actually just Christians who believe that Jesus was the Messiah. But it kind of it kind of just shows you guys like how they took different texts in the Bible and kind of twisted them to make you think that Jesus was in fact the Messiah, and how you can go back and actually like look at those and realize that they were not actually prophecies. So I think it's a great one to look at, and it's got like extra talking points about like Jewish customs and stuff. So I'm gonna look into that, and I will look into those like certain ones and make sure that they line up with what Jews actually believe, because I think a lot of that gets twisted in Christianity because they want Jesus to be the Messiah, even though he doesn't fit the criteria of the Jewish Messiah. So anyways, yeah, so I'm hoping I can do this every day. We will see. I know summer's coming, and I am gonna get super busy because I'm gonna have to start watching extra kiddos during the week, but I will do my best to get as many videos out as I can and just have people who want to come on here and chat and, you know, ask questions or even just listen to the Bible. So I think that is all for today. So thank you all for coming. Thanks, Tons of Mice and Jaded Atheist. Yeah. So this is my and this is my first Twitch video, so this should be interesting. I had to get this all set up last night, so. But yeah, I think this is good, and I want to keep doing this. So thank you all for coming. I'm gonna go now. Have a good day.